Hi, welcome to Accordion Cafe, and today we're going to work on this Electrolux Multivac. Its model number is Z166, and we're going to start by stripping it down. So we'll start by, it's the first time I've worked on one of these, so you'll have to excuse me. So we'll break it in half, that's a halfway mark right off, and there's a little bag here, a little filter. There's no bag in here. I guess it must be bagless. It's only a dust test, isn't it? Anyway, so that'll need cleaning. Put that over to one side for now. And next, let's see if we can get into the motor. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 6 screws to break the case open. So we've taken out our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. So when we release the handle, you can now take off the top half of the case, and there's the spring from our handle release button, which has gone flying off somewhere. But it's around here somewhere. Here it is. Right, there we are. So we'll put these in our jar. Spring and the handle release button, and there's our filter container release latch there, which has got a spring on the back, and the spring, you can see these little hinges here, they go into there I should say, and the spring sits on there so that you can release the dust container. So we'll put that in a little jar as well, and now we'll clean the motor up a bit. What we're going to use to get the dust off the motor and clean it up a bit is a paintbrush and vacuum cleaner. And you'll use the old, I'll show you over here, the old trusty Kirby. That's 17 years old. I honestly believe that you can't get a better vacuum than the Kirby. They're so well built. I believe they're the Rolls Royce or the Audi, the BMW of the vacuum cleaner world. More light on. So here we are. What we can see is a little brush motor. You've got your brushes there and there, and you may notice that the plug is out. Always make sure the plug's out. There's your motor fan there. Just inspect that for any broken blades, any big chips out of it. It's basically the same for all vacuum cleaners. You know, you check the brushes, you clean it out, check the fans all right, check the motor bearings, see if they're noisy, check the wiring. And there's our on and off switch. As you can see, it's just an ordinary plain slide on and off switch, and that goes backwards and forwards in there and switches it on and off. There's your mains lead coming in, and really this sort of vacuum cleaner, you don't bother repairing this. Just took it apart for the interest, really. Now just the handle release button, when the handle is in place like that, you can see there's a little hole in there, you can see that little button there. Well, that goes in there like so. Okay, now what happens is this, it's got a spring on it, this pushes on that. This angled part here, let me turn this light off so we can get a better view. That angle is not by accident. If I've got something white I can show it up against. Okay. That angle on the stem coming out of the bottom of this button is not by accident. It hasn't broken off. It's angled like that so that it can push on that release on here, you see. Okay, and that sits on there like that at that angle. Alright, it's not a good picture. So it's not by accident. It hasn't broken off. It's made like that. In the reassembly, before you tighten the screws up, you can put them in place if you want to. Your handle release goes there, so you have to put it in place before you tighten the case up. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it in afterwards. And when you've slid the handle in place, then you can put your button in, remembering to get the point of the slider towards the motor, not losing your spring either as you put it in there. Clamp it shut and hold it shut. Then you'll just have to put a little bit of tension on these screws, just a bit for now, and then go to your bag, carton, whatever you call it, plastic container release at the front, and then we'll put the spring to the back, open the case slightly, get that in place, and then the button's still working, you've got your thing in place there. You can put the rest of your screws in place and tighten them up a wee bit. This little vacuum is one which I use around the studio here. That's why I'm not being too careful with it, because I never use it anyway. Now, when we've got that far, and that folds inside there. But unfortunately the handle's bent, as you can see, so it won't go right the way in, because this is supposed to go right in up to the handle part, and we've got a dent in the handle there, so it won't go right the way in. But normally you would push that down and that will go right the way in and close up around here, so that you've got a very short handheld vac then. But only our studio use vac, so I'm not bothered about that. Right, so we'll just plug him in, make sure he's working alright. Well, he's still working alright, that's fine. So we'll just put our bottom half in. There's the filter, which I'll give it a bit of a brush out, but for the sake of the video, and there he is, ready for action. This is Electrolux Multivac.